After the hit Forrest Gump, director Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks took on a new challenge, turning an existential drama into a box office blockbuster. The screenplay was started by writer William Broyles Jr., who flew to a Mexican island and spent several days surviving alone. He learned how to open a coconut, built a bamboo shelter, but failed to start a fire without matches. He caught and ate raw stingrays, which made him violently sick by the third day. Broyles finished the experiment with the idea that the main character should face not only physical trials, but also spiritual ones. Tom Hanks also prepared intensely for the role. He researched the real-life experiences of castaways and based his character on those stories. There were journals and diaries of people who were shipwrecked or stranded on islands, and we found that they could survive the elements for a time. They made fire, found water, hunted food. But they'd eventually be overcome by hopelessness and go insane. And that's not just from physical hardship, but also from the fragility of our connection to the world, Hanks shared. Since his character Chuck Noland is stuck on the island for years, his appearance drastically changes. Constant sun exposure and a lack of food reduce him to skin and bones. The only way Hanks could portray this was by actually losing weight. He dropped 22 kilograms, nearly 50 pounds, and grew out his hair and beard for the island scenes. The early scenes, before the plane crash, were filmed first. Then the production paused for a full year so Hanks could physically transform. Filming on a remote island was as challenging as it sounds. The heat and humidity were brutal. Hanks spent so much time kneeling that he developed an open wound on his leg, which became infected and nearly killed him. A staph infection almost killed Tom when he cut his leg and left it untreated for too long. He was just an hour away from dying. That's how dedicated he was, trying to survive like his character, newspapers reported. On the island, Chuck survives mainly on coconuts, one of the few available food sources. You think you can eat a lot of coconuts? Let me tell you something, they're a natural laxative, Hanks said in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. Drink all the milk and eat the insides, then tell me how you feel in 90 minutes. His role in Castaway remains one of the most physically and emotionally demanding of Hanks's career. Everyone struggled during filming, even the sound crew. Waves made audio nearly unusable, so the team had to re-record everything in post-production. But their efforts were rewarded with an Oscar nomination. Night scenes were also filmed in daylight. VFX artists had to digitally turn bright days into believable nighttime. The writers faced another problem. How do you make a movie compelling when it's mostly about survival and talking to a volleyball? Broyles remembered a screenwriting exercise where the goal was to tell the most concise story using the fewest words possible. They cut most scenes involving Chuck's loved ones and focused solely on Hanks's performance, his descent into madness and struggle to stay sane. Though Hanks didn't win the Oscar, he was only nominated, the film grossed $430 million on a $90 million budget, only $30 million short of Gladiator, which came out the same year. One frequent question for Zemeckis was about the FedEx branding. Why so many boxes? Why does it feel like a commercial? He explained that a real company wouldn't pay to be featured in a movie where it's essentially responsible for a plane crash. And it's true. FedEx executives initially opposed the script but eventually agreed with the condition that the packages had to look authentic. The volleyball was named Wilson because it's a real sporting goods brand. The company didn't pay for product placement but profited immensely from the movie. Now they sell replica Wilson balls with the red face for $20. Originally, the writers planned to use a football, but Zemeckis didn't like the idea and switched to a volleyball. Wilson even had scripted lines. Hanks says them in his head to simulate a real dialogue. The ball gets its iconic face accidentally. In a moment of rage, Chuck smears it with blood while trying to make fire. Calming down, he draws a face and asks, "Got any matches, Wilson?" About the filming locations. The foreign FedEx office was initially supposed to be shot in Warsaw, Poland, then Hungary. Eventually, they chose Moscow, Russia. The scenes were shot in January 1999. For Hanks, it was an adventure. He only complained about the freezing cold, calling Moscow the coldest city he had ever visited. In the warehouse scenes, Russian actor Dmitry Duzhev appeared as an extra, sorting and unloading FedEx parcels. The main setting was an uninhabited island, Monariki, in Fiji's Pacific waters. Rain scenes were tricky. Artificial rain machines had to be flown in, and the difficulty led to cutting most rain scenes entirely. After the movie, tourists frequently visited what was once a quiet island. Filming in Hawaii would have been cheaper, but Fiji won out. The plane crash scene was filmed in a giant custom-built studio tank. Hanks swam a lot during these sequences. For some stunts, he refused a double, allowing for many close-up shots. The score was composed by the legendary Alan Silvestri, known for Forrest Gump, The Avengers, Night at the Museum, Star Trek, Predator, Mission Impossible, and Back to the Future. But in Castaway, music plays for only 15 minutes, including the end credits. For the 103 minutes that Hanks's character is alone, there's no music at all, emphasizing the silence and isolation. Interestingly, the film begins and ends at the same crossroads, a symbol of freedom and choice. The biggest question for many viewers: what was in the unopened package? Zemeckis once joked it was a waterproof solar-powered satellite phone. A fun story: at the start of the COVID pandemic, Hanks and his wife caught the virus. A satirical website posted a photo of Hanks with Wilson in quarantine. It went viral. Some media took it seriously. In truth, the photo was from a Rangers versus Bruins hockey game, where a fan threw a replica Wilson ball to Hanks during the kiss cam. He smiled and held it up, but no one knows if the moment was planned. Critics and audiences loved the film. $430 million at the box office, $90 million budget. The Academy gave Oscar nods to Hanks and the sound crew, while the Golden Globes awarded Hanks over Gladiator's Russell Crowe. Later, Castaway inspired the creation of the hit TV show Lost. The movie ends with Chuck staring at a pair of angel wings painted on a package and later a truck. The same wings were on the unopened box he kept safe for 4 years. Never opened, contents unknown. So if you haven't seen this film yet, I highly recommend watching it as soon as possible. That's all from me for now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell to never miss a new video, and like and comment to support the content. See you soon!